and welcome back to another episode of The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, the show where I, the curator, discuss my personal favorite show of all time, personal favorite franchise of all time, Doctor Who. And as you can see by the wonderful, lovely background behind me, today we are finishing our discussion on the various different forms of music for Doctor Who, and more specifically, the intro of Doctor Who, which is why I have all these two versions of each intro right up until the 50th anniversary uh, type intro. And today we will be ranking all the different intros for Doctor Who. And of course, I say we because obviously this being a T ranking list, I could not really do this on my own. I have a few guests here with me. Starting us off, I knew right away if we're gonna do a T ranking list of music, I gotta have someone who's an actual musician on the show, which is my good friend, and I believe the person who has appeared in the most episodes of this show, other than me, Soda.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you and Raiko may be tied for the highest number of
So I
appearances.
think at this point it's safe to say I'm practically your companion.
Well, I have many companions.
Yeah.
But you're my most frequent one.
Ah.
You are the Sarah Jane Smith to my Doctor, which fits well because the curator happens to be the fourth Doctor. So,
That is true.
speaking of companions, this is another person I just love and enjoy having on this show. I have him here whenever I possibly can. We had him here for the Dalek T ranking list, and I might have a few other appearances planned to suggest to this person, and hopefully they'll take it. Say hello to the Doctor of Snark.
Ooh.
Oh, hello, boys. How are you? And it's good to know when you guys think rank, you think Stark.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. Starts always at the top. Salute.
This is probably going to go a lot better than the last time me and Snark were on a T ranking list. Well, actually, no, the last time was the Daleks one, but the one before that, the infamous Harry Potter movies.
What
Still
happened?
better than that one.
How they got that so wrong. How they
Yeah.
got that so wrong.
Then again, that's what happens when you let people decide for themselves and not
That's right.
us decide for the people what they need.
So apparently the Northern Entertainment Group is autocratic. Good to know.
We need to do this with an iron fist.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
It's time for a change.
People don't know what they want. We know what people want.
That's right.
First of all, let me just do this.
We are now overlords.
This looks a whole lot better. Now, as per usual, we start each episode with talking about the birthdays of each week. This week is from the 19th of July to the 25th of July, and oddly enough, this was an easy week to pick out a lovely list of people because really I didn't really have to do a lot of trimming down the fat, as I like to call it. We have a few major villains and a few interesting companions. So, starting us off on July 19th, we have Darren Nesbitt. He played arguably the first big major human villain on the show, Warlord Tagana, in the iconic legendary Marco Polo episode, a legendary episode from the first Doctor's first season, and very memorable episode in that. On July 20th, we have Sinead Michael, the youngest person, I believe, so far on this show. We celebrated their birthday. She played the character of Sky in the Sarah Jane Adventures. She was Sarah Jane Smith's adopted daughter, who was very curiously absent from Sarah Jane's funeral episode that they did 2 years ago. So
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember her having a daughter.
Family drama, guys. Family
it
drama.
was the final season, which sadly, tragically, was cut very, very short because of Elizabeth Sladen's untimely death,
Mm.
and well, they had big plans for this character that unfortunately we'll probably never get to see because the season was forced to be cut short.
Yeah.
Also July 20th, we have Roy Skelton. He mostly did voiceover work for the early 60s, providing the voice of such villains as the Monoids, the Cybermen, the Daleks, and the Crotons, as well as just having a long list of other credits from all the way up to the 80s that it will be too long if I had to list every single one of them right now. So let's just move on and talk about the 22nd of July with the lovely Miss Bonnie Langford. She played the character of Melanie Bush, a companion of the 6th and 7th Doctors, respectively, on screen, as well as on various Big Finish episodes. Also on the 22nd of July, Adrienne Hill, who played the character of Katerina, arguably the shortest-lived companion with a very tragic on-screen backstory. And
Is it second Doctor?
that's the first Doctor. I believe she only had like 2 episodes to her name.
Did we cover her when we did that really long companion tiers list?
Yeah, she was introduced in one episode and immediately killed off in the next one.
And when
Okay.
you say really long, I
It
remember
was-
that TARDIS or the Dalek one being pretty long.
Well,
That
the
one was
companion
3.5
one
or
went through every single companion, and it took like almost 4 hours.
4 hours almost to the minute.
Yeah.
Guys, to prepare for this, I didn't eat for 2 days. And I'm also double bagging when it comes to diapers currently.
Nice. Very nice.
Now, finally, our penultimate person on the birthday list, on the 25th of July, we have Mr. Cyril Luckham. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. He played the White Guardian in the Reboss Operation and Enlightenment, as seen right here in this picture. And finally, once again, on the 25th, we have Kevin Stoney. He played 2 majorly iconic villains. First as the very racially insensitive Mavic Chen in the Daleks' Master Plan, and then later as Tobias Vaughn in The Invasion. And actually, one of the very few actors who can actually claim that they worked alongside and betrayed both the Daleks and the Cybermen on separate occasions. So he's got that going for him. So for the lovely list of people that I just listed right here, thank you all. We quite literally could not do this without you.
Happy birthday.
Yep.
So
Multiple.
now, let's talk about some music stuff. So I have prepared a short list, well, short by my standard at least, short list of various different Doctor Who themes from all the way back in the 60s, right up until the modern age. And I sent it to these 2 gentlemen who have listened to it, and as I was told just before starting this recording, have actually made their own individual rankings of these themes.
Yep.
So I'm quite interested to see how
I also partially did that to prove to 50 that I did watch, so you would not have a heart attack live on air. Because it's true. I kind of freaked out earlier today because I'm like, dude, I'll be ready for the show. He's just like, you haven't seen. It's like, dude, I'll be ready.
Okay, clearly, even after all this time, Soda does not understand my sarcasm.
Text, my dude. It's not text. You're also really good at making me feel guilty.
Okay.
Well, making other people feel guilty is a time-honored Jewish tradition.
Yes.
Now, as you can see right here in the tiering list, I have, technically speaking, 3 tiers. We have the S tier, which I named Music of the Spheres, which is a crazy. What?
If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see something called presentation mode. It'll get rid of all those ads. So scroll down. Yeah, presentation mode right there. Now scroll up. Huh.
Okay.
What a genius.
Well, clearly someone here has been doing this for longer than I have.
Yeah.
But S tier is Music of the Spheres, a iconic special 10th Doctor sort of mini episode, and also just a commonly well used phrase in all forms of media, and especially Doctor Who. That is why it's the S tier. The sort of A/B tier is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, a favorite song commonly used by the second Doctor when he played his recorder. And the stand-in F tier right now is two sonic devices held up against each other. Another 10th Doctor reference from the episode Partners in Crime, which is just... I felt like naming this cacophony was a little too unkind and not enough of a Doctor Who reference. I also have a stand-in other tier. Do you guys feel like we need another one? That's why I kept this on here.
I do, and I'm going to name it a line that has been used by the second Doctor and most recently by the 10th and the 50th. I don't like it.
Okay.
Direct and to the point.
Well, I like your inclusion of that line, but I already used it in the TARDIS.
Okay.
Wow.
So I don't like to reuse stuff on this show. Are we fine with using it though?
It's your show, so it's up to you.
Yeah, 4 is fine.
Yes, I'm not for you.
When I did mine, I had 5 tiers, so I can always bump up a couple and move a couple down. So I'm good.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. Oh wait.
You want to delete it?
That's why I'm asking you. Are we keeping it or are we deleting it?
I think we can keep it.
Yeah, keep it.
All right, so let's just rename it. One. I don't.
It's funny, you're teaching me things, 50, about this, and I'm teaching you things. I had no idea you could edit it that simply.
Yeah, well, I had to do a lot of stuff tier ranking wise on camera with very minimal preparation.
Wow.
That's fair.
Put it over here and give it the color orange because it
Sure.
helps
There you
the
go.
color spectrum. Okay, so this is sort of the D tier. This is the F tier.
Yes. Okay, I can live with that.
So, as per usual, we're starting us off with the original, you might say, the first Doctor's theme, first featured in the episode On an Earthly Child, or 100,000 BC, all depends on your perspective. The original Ron Grainer composition, which was then performed by Delia Derbyshire in the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. The original that just included the 4-Knox rhythm, which, as you've seen the last couple of episodes of this show, I have a sort of slight fan theory that this is the 4-Knox rhythm that can be heard in the theme itself is actually the heartbeat of a Time Lord, and the melodies that accompany the rhythm, the Melody 1, Melody 2, and the middle 8 section, is actually the song that the Doctor can hear in their mind, in their head, the entire time during their existence, or rather just the Doctor's inner song.
Gotcha.
And the entire composition is obviously accompanied by some weird hissing noise that almost sounds like a breathing type of a sound effect, and it's also accompanied by these weird psychedelic images that almost feel like liquid. And as seen in this image of the logo itself, there's a sort of rising shapes that appear.
That's a trick that they used to use in the 60s, right? That was like, what is it, grease on a hot lamp on a projector or something like that?
Ugh.
I believe.
And then actually,
Let's not forget just how advanced this theme song is, because this has synthesizers more long before they were commercially available, and you would hear them in music. Like if I had good 10 years at least.
and there's actually a video on the BBC YouTube channel where they really showed you how they made some of the sounds that were featured in Doctor Who. And it's very, very interesting and fascinating. So, what are we doing with the original?
My opinion, this is S tier, not just for, because it is the original, but also because if you take a look at it in terms of the music standpoint, it was ahead of its time based on the construction of the music.
Yeah, I agree. Snark?
Yeah, it's definitely S tier, especially I had it at the very top of my second tier, but since I had 5, it's easy. I can bump that up to the S tier. It's a song that's been the basis of a theme song for 60 years, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's 100% the S tier.
To me personally, I love it. It is definitely an S tier. I don't think it's as good as some of the other ones.
No.
Some of the other ones that came later, but I mean, the show would not be what it is without this iconic theme song. And of course, it was used in the opening of Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary. It was also featured in Zagreus, the 40th anniversary on Big Finish. It's an iconic scene that still continues to be used, still to this day, in its original form on Big Finish and various other Doctor Who related projects. So it can't be anything other than S tier. Like, there's no other way of getting around it.
Yeah, agreed.
Now, what I consider slightly inferior to that one is the second Doctor's iteration of the theme, mostly keeping the rhythm and melodies the same, but completely throwing out the hissing and breathing noises in the background in favor of a sort of whirling noise that almost feels a bit metallic, which has actually gone on to stick with the composition of the theme for almost 20 years, as a matter of fact, all the way up to 1979, I think. Of course, the theme has seen several changes, but not quite as drastic as adding this whirling sound into the background. Obviously, this is the first theme where we actually get to see, or sorry, the first intro where we actually do get to see the Doctor's face show up on screen as part of the intro, which I loved that they used to do that in the classic series, and sort of a way of letting the audience know who is the Doctor right now, which Doctor you're watching. It's the same reason why we still to this day have faces printed on money. In a way, that's something that was introduced during the Roman era, the Roman Empire, to let everyone know who the current emperor was. That's how everyone knew who the emperor was. They carved his face into the main currency used at the time. So I love that they brought that into Doctor Who.
And it's something we still use to this day with our own currency.
Yeah, that's what I said. I brought it up. But overall, like I said, the theme itself, not too different. I still prefer the hissing and breathing noises to the metal whirly-gig sound effect that they added for this theme. But I love that they added the face of the Doctor to this theme. And just for facts' sake, the original theme was continuously used right up until the second Doctor's episode, the Macra Terror, which was the first episode to feature this theme for the second Doctor, which has gone on to stay with the second Doctor right up until his final episode, the War Games. So, what do we think about the second one?
Okay, where I had this was at the very end of my third tier. So, I would probably put it at the front of the I don't like it tier. Although, I do like it. I like it. There's very few that I don't like. Let's put it out there. Mm-hmm. But this one I would put at the very top of the I don't like it tier. One thing this thing had was the first feeling of motion, like you're actually traveling instead of looking at it. The motion in the beginning, that's the thing I think I like best about the opening credits. But as for the song, I would put it at the front of I don't like it.
Yeah, I would also put in I don't like it, just because once that change, I'm with you, that whirring sound kind of throws it off for me a little bit. But the reason why it's included higher is because of the inclusion of Patrick Troughton's face, which I do like it, and I love that they brought that back starting with Capaldi.
They actually brought it back with Smith, but we'll get to that.
I mean, but people remember more coming back with Capaldi, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm with Snark. I would put it probably at higher up on the I don't like it.
Yeah, me too. I would say lower on the Twinkle Twinkle and high on the I don't like it. So let's just because all three of us had it on the I don't like it. Let's put it at the very top, right here.
Yeah, I think we all had it in about the same spot by the sound of it. We're like right around the same spot.
Yeah, and it's actually very fitting because it is actually a phrase that was popularized by the Second Doctor. So couldn't have done it better if we tried. Next, we have the first color version of a Doctor Who intro with the third Doctor theme, still keeping mostly the same theme. The only major difference, well, two major differences that they added to this theme is at the beginning there's a sort of echo sound before it gets to the 4 Knox rhythm with the echo, which some people at first thought was a mistake, but because they kept using it, and Big Finish still uses that version of the theme to this day, it feels a little too manufactured to be a mistake. Almost like it's on purpose. And also, the second major change that they added to this theme was that they actually timed the beginning of the Melody 1 section of the theme to coincide with the appearance of John Pertwee's face on screen, and transitions into a completely different visual design that actually is the first time we actually get to see sort of something that tries to emulate a whirling vortex to give you the impression that you're actually traveling through space in a way. And it's actually also the first time that the closing credits of an episode features the weird psychedelic images on screen. For the first 2 Doctors, it was mostly just regular credits going up from the bottom of the screen all the way to the top, like in any regular show or episode. This is the first introduction of just the images on screen, coupled with names appearing and disappearing and replaced with other names. Idea that most other TV shows do. So, what do you think about this one?
I would put it towards, for me, the bottom of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It doesn't deviate too much from the second for me. What it was bumped up is what you said, the timing that they incorporated into when you first see Bertram's face. So that bumps it up to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for me.
It's exactly where I had it as well. Actually, in my notes, it's the one that is just before the second Doctor's on my notes. So yeah, so I would put if I liked the second Doctor's at the first spot and I don't like it, and then I'm for sure I'm gonna like the third Doctor's first one, right near the end of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I don't really have much to say about this one. I completely agree with the decision of putting it above the second Doctor because it does have a bit more speciality to it. Again, the second Doctor theme introduced the idea of putting the Doctor's face in the opening credits, but the third Doctor's first theme that is, improved upon it, and it actually stayed that way for 3 or 4 other Doctors. So that's why it's higher up on my list personally than the second Doctor. Now, another theme that was introduced during the third Doctor's era is what is commonly referred to as the Delaware theme, or it's also known by the popular nickname John Pertwee and a Pogo Stick. It was around the time when the BBC Radiophonic Workshop got a brand new synthesizer. It was much more modern, updated with the technology that they had at the time, and they just had to mess with it and decided to re-record the main theme. And what they eventually ended up coming up with is a musical monstrosity that just has. It sounds too video game-ish before that type of music was even popularized, and it's not good. I like that it exists. It's one of those infamous sci-fi mistakes that I'm just happy that it exists. I believe it has been featured on one episode in the original run, which is Carnival of Monsters, which is actually a personal favorite of mine. And it also features on another one of my favorite Big Finish episodes, The One Doctor, which, if you actually know the plot of that episode, it does really make sense. But other than liking the fact that it exists as its own separate entity, I can't really put it too high on the list. Yeah, I'd say it's an F tier title.
This was the first one where I was like, this sounds incredibly 8-bit to me. This was, I'm glad this is not well known. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
This is dead last for me. This one was horrible. My wrote a couple notes. First one, of course, is the one that counts was doing, doing, doing. So when you say the pogo stick, it's like, oh yeah, I can get that for sure. And then I said my least favorite, and that was directly after I heard the first doing, doing, doing. I knew I wasn't gonna like it, and just that I had such a crappy synthesizer. It was crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it was not good, and it's by far the worst of all the Doctor Who's, and I'm glad we never ever have to never hear it again.
Agreed.
Yeah. Again, hearing it in the episode that it accidentally was featured in was like a fun reminder of, oh yeah, they made that mistake once. But beyond that,
nice little Easter egg for the hardcore fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously it was named the Delaware theme because I believe that's how they named the synthesizer. They named it Delaware after the road outside the studio at the time.
Gotcha.
Now, we're still sticking with John Pertwee for this next one, which was actually John Pertwee's final theme, first featured in The Time Warrior, the debut episode of Sarah Jane Smith, and the Sontarans. And for the most part, it's the exact same theme on the musical side of things, except this time they sort of changed, completely reiterated the visuals on the intro of the credits, and they actually did make full use of the echoing background noise that opens the John Pertwee era theme all the way back in this theme. Actually, if you actually watch the opening credits, it sort of starts almost like Star Wars hyperspace scene, where you see some distant dots sort of turning into streaks of light, and then just morphing into this space-time vortex for the first time. First time that we get to see proper space-time vortex, we get to see the creation and the formation of John Pertwee in his entirety, not just his face but his whole body, which then transitions into a space-time vortex in the shape of John Pertwee's figure, and then the diamond-shaped Doctor Who logo that has remained the longest running logo for the show ever since. And what I love about the visuals is that while I love the modern day look of the space-time vortex, in those particular seasons, the vortex itself actually looked tangible, almost like you can actually reach out and touch it, and you can actually feel something, like it has some sort of mass. But like I said earlier, on the musical side, it stayed exactly the same thing. It's only the visuals that change. So, what do we think about this thing?
I have this as a S tier. I love it. I had it on my top tier. I thought it set the standard for all of the first era Doctor Who's. It's also the first time I noticed hearing that kind of that sound it makes in the very, very beginning of the song. I noticed popping up on another one that may show up on my S tier list a little later. I absolutely love this beginning, and especially the one right before it is the worst. And to go directly to this one is a pretty big shock to the system. But yeah, this is a fantastic intro.
I like it, but it's not S tier for me. This is in our version of A there. The Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for me. I would put it above the other Third Doctor version, but it's not S tier for me. The visuals, though, are pretty damn cool. I like that shot of a full Pertwee in that credit. I don't know. So something about it, I think that sets it apart from the third Doctor one.
I'm on the same wavelength as Soda on this one. I love it. I wouldn't put it on S tier. It's to me, it's even though it's for one season and it's sort of set a standard that certain Doctors received a different opening intro for their final season. I think it is the definitive Jon Pertwee theme, even though, like I said, it was only there for one season, and that is why I agree with Soda on putting it above the previous Jon Pertwee theme in the Twinkle Twinkle tier. But I can't put it on the same level as the William Hartnell version because it's not that different.
Which is true. Yeah, it's not that much different.
It's not as different as some of the other themes we have to rank here. And speaking of which, the final theme that actually still maintains the same exact composition by Delia Derbyshire is the Fourth Doctor's theme, which, first of all, I'll say this, the visuals this time around are S tier. Because the visuals, on the visual side, it opens with almost two headlights opposite one another, pointing in different directions, then sort of spinning into the actual viewer, which reveals the TARDIS, and then the TARDIS sort of opens up to reveal the iconic Fourth Doctor theme that after a few seconds of traveling through the vortex, it morphs into Tom Baker's face with the scarf that I'm wearing, sort of the scarf that I'm wearing now, then the diamond-shaped Doctor Who logo, and the title of each episode. It's an iconic intro, so iconic that it was featured in the Family Guy parody episode of Star Wars.
That's true.
I was literally, as a Doctor Who fan, and I was already a Doctor Who fan when I watched it, that was the first time I ever saw that version of the theme.
Wow.
But yeah, like I said, on the music side, it still stays the same. In fact, it's even worse than the Jon Pertwee versions because at that point, the theme itself has gotten so old and kept getting reused and respliced and reformulized that you can actually tell that even the theme itself sounded old. Like you can actually, it sounds very muffled and almost like you're trying to hear the song in the middle of heavy traffic or inside a dark cave. Like it by the later seasons, and remember, Tom Baker was the Doctor for 7 long seasons. By season, I don't know, 12 or something like that. 12, not 12. By season 17 or something like that, the theme itself was really, really getting old and just. It felt like a wounded animal that needed to be put out of its misery. But like I said, the visuals, top notch. Yeah,
I agree with you on the visuals.
Yeah, I like the horizon part or whatever. Instead of having the full screen or whatever, just having the horizon with the void or whatever. At the
the headlights, like I said.
Yeah.
The biggest issue is kind of what you said, Vivi. To me, this sounds like it was recorded in an echo chamber. It's not a great recording.
No.
Yeah, and like I said, it keeps getting worse with each season, and even the visuals look darker with each season because they kept.
So nice to know that you said that because the next few are not high on my list either.
Oh, well, we might have a bit of a confrontation, but
they're gonna fight. We'll see.
So where are we putting this?
I would have put this right well, for me, it was at the beginning of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on my list. I would have put it behind the Pertwee one, but you guys, I'm totally fine with it going ahead of it for sure.
I would put it probably at the bottom if I don't like it, if I'm being honest.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I think, like I said, the visuals are better than the final Pertwee one, but I prefer the colors of the final Kirby one. So
Right.
since we're in such disagreement, I would say either above the second Doctor one or right below the first Kirby one. So
I have it below it on mine. I'm happy with it.
so I don't like it, or
No, I put it in Twinkle. I still think it would be. It should hold on to at least.
I'm fine with it. Like the
Twinkle Little
visuals,
Star.
visuals do help.
Yeah.
yeah. So it made it Twinkle Twinkle based on the visuals alone.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Now,
yeah. It's not for the song.
here is where we might have a bit of an altercation between some of the members on the panel, because moving on, we have my personal favorite of the classic. Personal favorite of the classic era themes, the 1980s theme, which was first introduced during Tom Baker's final season before obligatory being given to the Fifth Doctor for his entire run. And even though it started with the Fourth Doctor, it was mostly recognizable as the Fifth Doctor's theme. On the visual side, it was primarily inspired by a little film called Star Wars, which happened to feature a lot of traveling through space, which came out a couple of years before this theme was made. And obviously, it features the faces of both Tom Baker and Peter Davison appearing as constellations in the stars before being fully revealed in true colors, and then flying towards the viewer. Then the same thing happens for the logo, the new revamped Doctor Who logo, which then sort of explodes and reveals the title of the episode. And in the closing credits, it was basically the reverse. You see the theme sort of imploding back into itself, turning back into stars, and then you see the same thing happen to the faces of Tom Baker and Peter Davison. And the theme itself, technically speaking, also lasted all the way into Colin Baker's first full season, but we'll get to that in just a minute. But on the musical side, it is the biggest departure between films, between the themes, still to this day, from the last of the Dilly Derbyshire produced music. The Peter Howell version, the composer of this theme, is a complete redux reimagining of the musical theme with features a properly functioning synthesizer for the first time. It features Peter Howell's voice through an electronic microphone as the melody two bits, and I love the build up to the middle 8 section in the closing theme. I love the explosion at the end, and which coincides with the visuals themselves. I love it. It's my favorite of the classic era themes. Now let me hear from you guys. Why do you hate it so much?
Okay, so first off, I want to say something. It turns out I actually put this on my list twice. So it is actually not as low as I think. It's not S tier, but it is the highest of the classic themes as well for me.
Whoa.
Because it does. That's why I was on mute. I quickly re-listened to it. It is very much of its time. It definitely has an 80s feel, but it suits the honestly, I think this is the one that suits the Doctor the most from this era, just because of that particular Doctor, the way he presents himself is almost like, I don't want to say posh, but he's definitely more highbrow, and this theme song kind of reflects that.
Smart.
Okay. My biggest thing was about the entire octave higher it goes. It throws you, especially when listening back and stuff like that. I think when I first watched this stuff, maybe I didn't even notice that much, but also I probably didn't. After a while, you don't pay attention to the themes. But that entire octave higher, like an entire octave higher, and faster. That's just not a Doctor Who theme for me. The graphics being so different with the stars and the lights just going and stuff like that. I didn't put it on my F tier, but I had it in like my I don't like it tier. I would have had it in behind even like the second Doctors and stuff like that. I had it even well uh, it's the lowest of besides besides the Delaware theme or whatever that I have that we've listened to so far on my list. But I'm only one dumb Canadian. What do I know?
Well, it's the dumb Canadian I wanted to have on this show.
Yeah.
So where should we put it then? Because we're all in 1, 2, or 3
But
category.
if somebody's S tier, so I would imagine you'd have to put it high. Like I
Either
don't
the
like.
bottom of S or the top of A is where it would probably end up.
Yeah. Like I said, to me, it's the best of the classic era themes. I put it above the Hartnell one, but since all three of us are not unanimously in agreement,
How about this? How about this? We put it for now at the bottom of Music of the Spheres, but it is the first to go if we need to push it.
All right. I don't like the idea of placing something at a certain tier and then pushing it backwards once we're done. But
that's why I said if. It's not guaranteed.
All right. Next, we have, technically speaking, the Sixth Doctor's theme, but it's much more recognizable as Trial of a Time Lord theme. So when Colin Baker, almost surprisingly, in the middle of a season, took on the role of the Doctor from Peter Davison, he still kept most of Peter Davison's theme. They just changed the visuals around. With the logo itself stayed mostly the same, they just recolored version, and the visuals again still mostly the same. It's they had still traveling through space. They just added a few visuals on the all around. They made the stars passing by a little bit bigger, and it also coincides with some sound effects that were added to the Peter Howell theme. I can't remember the name of the composer at the moment, but he basically had like a couple of days to remake an entire new theme. And under those conditions, this is the best he could come up with. But fortunately, or rather unfortunately, because the show was on an 18-month hiatus after Colin Baker's first full season, he had way more time to work on an improved new theme that incorporates all the sound effects that were added to fit with the new visuals, but also completely rearranges the melody parts as well as the 4/Nox rhythm. And while the theme itself has, in recent years, also seen another redux for the DVD and Blu-ray releases in the last couple of years, the theme itself has mostly stayed the same on Big Finish. Before around 2014-ish, they incorporated a new updated version of the Sixth Doctor theme. Now, I will say this: since we are talking including some Big Finish stuff on here, I love the Sixth Doctor on Big Finish. On television, it's a bit hard to look for the guy that strangles his female companion on his first episode. But I just love the Sixth Doctor. I always look forward to a Sixth Doctor episode. Sixth Doctor just gets the best episodes on Big Finish, in my opinion. And this theme, which ironically, they still use the Fifth Doctor with added sound effects for the Sixth Doctor on Big Finish whenever he's traveling with Perry to sort of symbolize that this is from his first season. So yeah, this is the asshole Sixth Doctor, not the good Sixth Doctor that was developed by Big Finish. Sort of help people make that distinction in their heads. But yeah, that's just my quick tangent on the Sixth Doctor. In my opinion, the best Big Finish Doctor. But you guys listen to this theme. What do you think?
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I just don't like it. It just listening to it, it doesn't feel Doctor Who to me. It really doesn't. It fits with Colin Baker's darker Doctor, so to speak, but it's not one I'm going to go over listen to again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite of the classics by far. We talked about which one is my favorite, but I think it is a step down from the previous one, but not too big of a step down. Well, what do you think, Snark?
I had this on the bottom of my list. It's not as I didn't put it on as bad as the Delaware theme, but I had it. I had it on the bottom tier with it, just because I felt like it should have company the Delaware one. I thought it strayed too far from the original theme. I didn't like the disco style, just graphics of just light at you. Uh, they kind of update that little fanfare part from the original theme, and I wasn't here for that either. It didn't save it for me, so I had that one on the bottom of my list.
I think a theme has to be exceptionally terrible to end up on the F tier alongside the Delaware theme. So I can't, in good conscience, put it that low. What about you guys?
I don't like it. It's first.
Yeah, the I don't like it tier is fine. I would have it at the near the back.
Yeah, at the bottom of it.
So below the second Doctor one.
Oh, sure.
Much
Yeah,
as much as it pays me to put it that low, I gotta take the other people's thoughts into consideration here.
That's fair.
Next, we have the final of the classic era themes. There's one more that, for obvious reasons, I decided not to put on this list because it's an episode people are really trying to forget. But the Seventh Doctor theme, which actually I believe that's how you're introduced to the Seventh Doctor. Obviously, the Colin Baker famously refused to show up for his regeneration scene, so that's why in the regeneration scene, it's Sylvester McCoy wearing a Colin Baker wig, regenerating, and then the visual part of the theme starts with an explosion that's overlooking an entire galaxy with three asteroids flying towards the center of the galaxy, but the asteroid chunks, or rather the space debris chunks, actually coincide exactly right with the fluctuations of the melody bits of the theme, and we see a sort of orb force field with containing the TARDIS inside, flying towards the center of the galaxy, which then dissolves into into Sylvester McCoy's face, that literally winks at the audience, a sort of a way to welcome the audience, to let people know that this Doctor is potentially going to be much more friendly than its predecessor. And what I love most about this theme is that it actually incorporates my favorite part of the theme, the middle 8-bit of the melody, into the actual intro credits, as opposed to it being relegated to the bottom of the closing credits. And in most of the modern era series, it's just not there. It's just not existent. So I love that they included the middle 8 part of the theme. And I'm not the biggest fan of the logo redesign. I think it fits the Seventh Doctor. I'm just not a really big fan of the metallic Who with the Space Diner Doctor on the corner there. But I will say this in this theme's defense. I believe it is the first ever completely CGI intro theme in any TV show ever.
Okay, so that actually is going to play into my reasoning for why it's and I don't like it, because it feels like a very bad CD-ROM game from the early 90s.
Yeah, but remember, this is 1987. It was, like a lot of things in Doctor Who, it was revolutionary for its time.
Which I do agree, but it doesn't age well.
I believe that's Doctor Who's curse. They do a lot of things miles ahead of their time that just don't age well.
Yeah, and yet still not a ginger.
That's true.
It'll happen. Give it time. It'll happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
If it's Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley, I will die a happy man.
Wow.
Right.
I think he'd be a great Doctor, but that's just me.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, I'm always happy to be proven wrong. Snark?
This is one of those middling ones for me. I liked it a lot better, and I liked the Sixth Doctor's theme, the music especially. I don't know. I kind of thought it was weird just having a blue sort of universe, like a blue kind of sun with a blue universe around it at the very beginning. I wouldn't put this one very high, but I wouldn't consider it the worst of the worst either.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if I would put it maybe at the top of the I don't like it tier, or at best the back end of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But I think it fits best for me at the front of the I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength of Snark on that one.
So, for clarification, Soda, you're on the top of
I don't like it. Top of I don't like it. Bottom of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's where I think it should go.
Yeah,
I think I'm on the same wavelength. I'll put it at the bottom of Twinkle Twinkle. I can't put it above the Fourth Doctor one, but for now, let's put it there. Now, after well, like I said, in between these two themes, there's another thing that I decided not to put. It's the Dimensions in Time theme that, let's be honest, a lot of people are trying to forget that episode ever existed, and it's a whole can of worms that I'm not going to open right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Somewhere in between the classic series and the modern series, we have this masterpiece of a theme for the 1996 movie that actually starts. Well, first of all, it starts with Paul McGann narration, which is curiously before he was generated.
Unless he might be telling it, as a story that has already happened to him.
Yeah, that's the only way I can look at it. But it starts with Paul McGann narration, some humming noises, before transitioning to some fanfare that then immediately goes right into the middle eight part of the theme with the execution of the master, and then the first space-time vortex since 1979. First time you actually get to see a vortex with actual asteroids floating in there, and the TARDIS is also flying there. We see the names of the actors. This is the precursor to the modern series visuals, which we will get to eventually. But I just, because it's a one-off, this is an S tier type of theme. I think listening to it in a multitude of episodes would probably detract from the specialness of it. So I'm glad that it's only for the movie version of the Eight Doctors adventure. The movie itself, not the best, but opening theme. What?
It's not the worst either. It's not
I said it's not the best. I didn't say it's terrible. No,
it's like right in the middle. It's like right in the middle.
But I'm glad that we actually get to see better stories with the Eighth Doctor. I'll say that. What are we doing with the movie?
I would put it at the top of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Really, that on Twinkle Twinkle. What about you, Snark?
I had it high. It's just the way my tiers were ranked, and that we only have 4 and stuff like that. Maybe I could see it going up to an S tier. I really loved the use of the pianos and the violins and stuff in this. I like how they started off with the bit of the fanfare first before it goes into the actual theme of it. I liked it quite a bit. I don't think I've ever seen the TV movie before, but I really enjoyed the theme song. So I wouldn't have it at the top of the S tier. I'd have it near the back of the S tier. But I think it's one of the most interesting for songs, I would say, and still being pleasing. Anyways, it's not the Delaware theme is interesting as well, in an incredibly different way.
I would recommend watching this, Snark, just as a Doctor Who fan, because
I will.
It's interesting to watch an American's take on Doctor Who, but filmed in Canada.
I saw Will Sasso in
He was one of his first roles,
for it. It's like, oh, Canadian.
One of his first roles.
There you go. We're taking over 50.
Well, you've been doing that for years.
Oh,
which is funny because we haven't known you for years.
that's right.
So I'm saying S tier. Soda said Twinkle Twinkle and
Like
Snark.
The top of Twinkle Twinkle, like number one on that.
Right. Yeah. So like I said, I'm fine with it being like in that last spot currently on Music of the Spheres for sure.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
If both of you feel that way, I'm fine with it too.
Yeah.
All right. So bottom of S tier.
Yeah.
Now, we're actually sticking with the Eighth Doctor. Fun fact: the Eighth Doctor, despite having a very limited on-screen appearances, he not only has the most amount of theme songs, he actually has the highest number of companions. But I suppose that's a story for another day. But the Eighth Doctor's second theme song, which was first featured in the Big Finish story, Storm Warning, and actually continued all the way up to. So this story was from 2001, and it actually lasted, I believe, all the way up to Absolution, which was in 2007. So, yeah, around 6 years, one of the longest themes in use before they completely replaced it with a bunch of other themes. I think for the Eighth Doctor on Big Finish, they tried a number of different themes. I think this one actually works the best.
Yeah.
But it's a very creepy, eerie, gives you the feeling of traveling through space. You can actually hear the distant sound of spaceships hovering overhead, which could emulate the sound of the TARDIS flying through the vortex, which is a bit ironic for the Eighth Doctor, because for about half of his run on Big Finish, he did not have the TARDIS. So there's an interesting story right there. But they still kept this eerie, creepy theme for the Eighth Doctor adventures with Charlie Pollard and Kariz, the Utermizin, for Big Finish, in what is considered to be his first few major arcs on Big Finish. The first of many, I would say. Where are we putting this one? It's not high on my list personally, but it's.
I have it on Twinkle Twinkle Little Star just because I like that it kind of went a little metal with it.
Right.
It kind of makes you want to go dan with the devil horns. So that's why it's on A for me. It's got a little bit of an edge to it that I like.
Yeah, for me, I would put it definitely ahead of the Seventh Doctor. I like my notes. I just said it's more intense, it's slower, and that I really would have loved to have seen graphics with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main problem that some of the Big Finish episodes suffer from, is that they just don't have visuals to them. And the thing about, it's funny that you mentioned Devil Horns, Soda, because still in the Eighth Doctor's first original main run with Charlie Pollard, one of his episodes still using this theme is called Minute in Hell, which is literally all about devilish imagery and stuff like that.
Minuet in Hell.
It's a small piece.
Yeah, Minuet is a piece of music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that makes it even better for this.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as you can see here, it features I believe the first and might be the only time that the Brigadier met the Eighth Doctor, which is interesting. As the actual Brigadier, and the reason I say actual Brigadier is a much longer story for another day. Yeah, I can tell you that off screen, but for this thing, I would put it I don't like it. What about you?
Ooh, yeah.
Well, I would have
had it in front of the Seventh Doctor, to be honest with you. I would have had Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
In front of the Seventh Doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But really behind the Second Doctor one?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it should be above the Second Doctor, but whatever. So that's it for.
No. It's in. I thought it was in Twinkle Twinkle Little Star above the seventh.
No, I am all thumbs today. So, yeah, but that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
That's what was when you said,
There
like,
you
really? Not above
Yeah.
the second Doctor? I'm like, what are you talking about?
go.
Right then. Like I said, they kept trying to make different themes for the Eighth Doctor, and this is one of them, composed by none other than Nicholas Briggs. Yes, that
What?
Nicholas Briggs.
Really? Sorry for the language.
Yeah. That Nicholas Briggs. Now I have here the image from the Company of Friends. They might have used it in other episodes, but the Company of Friends is the first episode that I remember hearing this theme, and really, it's an F tier. It's like they took the original Delia Derbyshire William
Yeah.
Hartnell version, and then just replayed it over backwards and forwards onto itself. It's gotten the common nickname of Delia Derbyshire in a blender. And I can tell why they came up with that name. It's hard to listen to. And thankfully, it's not in that many episodes, so there's a bit of a comfort. Again, love Nicholas Briggs. I think Nicholas Briggs is the hardest working man in Doctor Who. Not just voicing the Daleks and Cybermen and Jadoon and Ice Warriors and any other monster. He's also executive producing Big Finish. He's writing a lot of Big Finish episodes. He was in live action in the Torchwood Children of Earth. But yeah, the guy his contributions to Doctor Who outshadow many people. This theme song sucks. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, this is not one of those things. You're right. It's just the first theme music, just cleaned up.
I would say cleaned up, more just jumbled on top of each other.
By cleaned up is it was run through modern technology, so it's
right. Yeah.
That's what I mean by it's cleaned up.
Yeah, it was digitalized. It was
remixed. It sounds like they took the original theme song and just threw it into a sort of a mental asylum room, with the soft padding, and just made the theme bounce against the walls against each other. And
it made the theme songs fight against each other, and this is a product. Yeah, this is the only notes I put down was that it's a bunch of scraps of the other themes.
Pretty much.
So do we put it above or below the Delaware theme?
Above. Let's not go crazy. Let's not go crazy. It doesn't go doing. Yeah.
It still sounds like the first one.
Yeah. That's the right spot for it.
Now, next we have one that I'm a little bit conflicted on, so I'll be happy to hear what you guys have to say about it. It's another Eighth Doctor theme. I don't believe there's a specific name for this one, so let's just call it the heavy metal version of the theme, which was introduced in the episode The Silver Turk. And actually, I believe it was only there for 4 episodes, specifically for the Eighth Doctor and Mary Shelley. And yes, that Mary Shelley, when they travel together for, 4 episodes, like I said. I don't think this theme was used in any other episode besides the 4 episodes of the Eighth Doctor and Mary Shelley, played by Julie Cox. But again, like I said, I'm a bit conflicted on it, so I'll be happy to hear what you guys have to say about it.
I thought the guitars were great.
Yep,
I really liked it. I really liked the scene. I didn't like it as much as say like the TV. The actual TV movie theme. I didn't think it was as good as that, but I did like it quite a bit. It was different enough that it caught my ear for sure. I would have it. Probably Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. If it's in the I don't like, I wouldn't want to put it in the I don't like it. I'd put it in the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star category.
Yeah, I put it at the bottom of the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It straddles that edge, but it leans a little bit more towards Little Star for me.
Yeah. I don't like how short it is. I don't like how it abruptly ends, and I'm not a big fan of the ta-ta-ta-dum at the end. That's what really throws this whole thing off me, because like you said, Stark, I love the electric guitar version of it. And I love the heavy metal inspiration. I don't think this fits the Mary Shelley aspect of it, but that's just me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known about the Mary Shelley aspect though. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that version of the theme.
Yeah, Mary Shelley did travel with the Eighth Doctor, and there she is on the far right.
Right. Okay.
So, Twinkle Twinkle.
Bottom.
Yeah, I think at the bottom of it.
It's a very heavily populated tier. Where are we putting it exactly?
We don't want to not like the Doctor Who theme. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
What do you think? Before or after 7?
I would put it before.
Yeah, I'd lump that and the other Big Finish 8 together.
Yeah,
So is it
Yeah, right
better
there.
than the other one?
I think that's it.
Here we have it right now.
Okay, good. That was it for
Also-
the now.
That Cyberman looks like he put on a stocking and he's gonna go rob a bank.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
Or
really
he's
need
a mummy. Or he's a mummy.
It already has a stocking. Doesn't need it. Now, technically speaking, we're not done with the Eighth Doctor. However, we have the War Doctor theme, which was introduced in his first Big Finish box set, Only the Monstrous, written by Nicholas Briggs. So yeah, again, said earlier, arguably the biggest Doctor Who contributor ever. But yeah, it was given a brand new theme, thankfully not composed by Nick, but it was used for all of the War Doctor's 4 box sets. It was later then used for the Eighth Doctor and for the Time Lord Victorious episodes, as well as the new, or rather new old War Doctor. It's a bit hard to explain, but it's sort of the War Doctor as a much younger man, not played by John Hurt.
Oh.
But it's weird. It's unusual for the Doctor Who theme. I like it. I like it a lot. I like how in Big Finish episodes, this theme is the only one that actually can be heard in its entirety at the beginning and at the end of each episode. So it doesn't just cut off in the middle like most other, well, every other Doctor Who theme. I don't know. I have the sort of the opposite effect of the dum 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 from the Silver Turk one, except it's at the beginning of the theme with the. It starts with the 4 knots. The it doesn't really have much of a beginning to it, but I do feel like it fits the War Doctor, and more importantly, it fits the Time War aspect of Doctor Who. So,
And that's why it's S tier for me. This is the one that I really liked out of all the Big Finishes because it sounds. This is how listening to it. This is what I envisioned: Doctor Who by way of the Terminator.
Yes,
ooh,
that's a pretty good way of putting it.
It's Doctor Who by way of the Terminator, and you nail it right on the head. This fits to that period of the Doctor's history.
Terminator Time War.
Yeah, it's very might as well be the theme song for the Time War.
And it almost is, except it's also been used, like I said, for the Time War Victorious, which is technically speaking also a bit of a time war, but not the Time War.
But yeah, this is S tier for me because it is pretty damn good.
I don't know that I'd say S tier. What about you, Snark?
I had it above a few of the ones in Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I thought it had the most original beginning. I never think of having the and what it stood for before. I really liked when the theme came in, how intense it was and stuff like. It kept the intensity up and stuff like it. It fit really well with the War Doctor. He has it on his S here. Like I didn't have it that high, but I would have it closer to the top of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and if it ends up on the S tier, I have zero problem with that.
If you both, that's where you both feel, I'm fine with it being up at the top of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star because the odds more favor that at this point. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying either top of Twinkle Twinkle or bottom of Music of the Spheres.
Let's put it at bottom of Music of the Spheres just to pad it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, no, it's because of that Terminator hook to it. That's just like
100%. Like you say that, that's all I can think of for it.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, maybe you should just watch some scenes from Terminator on mute with that song.
Just the beginning. Just
Yeah, no
as soon as the Terminator theme starts out, just play the War Doctors theme.
And technically speaking, the Terminator movies are kind of a time warp when you think about it.
True.
Okay, now we have my personal favorite theme of all of them, the 2005 revival theme, which was first introduced for Christopher Eccleston. It was then slightly reused for David Tennant, and I say slightly because originally it did not include the middle eight at the end, the closing credits, which bothers me to this day. And I only recently, during research for this month's episodes, I finally know why. It's because Murray Gold, who I love to death, don't get me wrong, he is the John Williams of Doctor Who. Murray Gold apparently does not like the middle eight part of the theme. He hates it because it reminds him of a Christmas song.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
The fanfare-ish kind of flourishes and stuff like that. I can see it.
It's my favorite part of the theme, and it's a lot of other people's favorite part of the theme. So I'm glad that he finally swallowed his pride and inserted it in the Christmas Invasion, and it continued on for the rest of the David Tennant part of the theme. Begrudgingly, the middle eight was not heard at all during the Stephen Moffat era, even though Murray Gold did compose those themes with the middle eight in mind. But we'll get to those themes when we get to them. But on the visual side, we're back to the tunnel vortex that was first introduced in the movie version. It's just a much better looking one, and I love how fast paced it is. I love you see the TARDIS flying through it. You see it starts with the blue vortex, and then sort of slightly comes out in slow motion and enters through the red one. And I love how they incorporate it into the actual episodes. So when you see the TARDIS in the blue vortex, it means they're traveling into the past. When you see the TARDIS in the red vortex, it's traveling in the future. I love how
colors of the Doctor's suits.
Right.
Isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, doesn't he wear one color suit when he goes in the past and one color suit when he goes in the future? Ken?
Not necessarily. I mean, he wears the blue one in Smith and Jones, which is in the present.
Okay, maybe I
He sort of alternates the suits regularly.
About the suits as well, so.
This is the version I probably listened to the most. This is no argument S tier.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, I started with this theme. It's my introduction into the theme. That's why I love the prequels more than most people, because I started with the Star Wars prequels. Again, it's hard to forget your first, and David Tennant was my first.
And
so
Matt Smith is mine.
Yeah, and because, like I said earlier, because they Murray Gold swallowed his pride and added the middle eight to the closing theme, I heard that when I think my mom and her husband were watching it, and I just listened to it in the background. I heard that part of the music, and that's what made me fall in love with the theme, and in turn made me fall in love with the show itself. I would not be a Doctor Who fan probably without listening to that part of the theme. So I'm glad they added it into the David Tennant series, and it's just, and that version of the theme, like I said, is my favorite part of all the different themes, and I think it has not been surpassed in later seasons.
Agreed.
This theme song was my ringtone for about 4 years. So every time my phone rang, I heard this song. I knew this song, like I can still hear each beat of this song in my head. I've heard it so much. It's by far my favorite. I don't know if it's the very best, but it's my favorite. It was the top of S Fairy. It was the easiest one to put. When I wrote the tiers down, I didn't even have to look or whatever. It's like 9 is first. It won't matter. Like my bias will never change.
I'm with you on that. Like this one is It has come off of my phone, but it is the version that has been in my music the most.
But to be fair, the one thing about this thing is I just didn't like that oval Doctor Who logo. That's the only thing about the Ninth Doctor's thing.
Oh, you don't like that name?
And it carries on into a 10. It's just the logo, just that oval logo thing. I was never a big fan.
Maybe the logo could have been done better.
Yeah.
But I remember in high school, whenever I was feeling down, I used to listen to this theme as therapeutic for me, and it really helped me get through some tough times in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of David Tennant, we now have his theme, which was first introduced in Voyage of the Damned. Now, the logo itself that you see here, which was changed from this logo, this flaming logo was introduced in The Runaway Bride.
Yep.
Noble's debut episode as a full-on character.
Right.
But it feels like, again, giving a Doctor a revamped version of the theme for their final season, which was first introduced with John Pertwee. And it was like Murray Gold taking the original theme that he wrote for Eccleston and just running with it by adding some electric guitar bits. There's some piano in the middle section of it.
The violins and horns is what does it for me for this one. I love the violins and the horns in it.
I love it, but it's just adding on to the superior original version of the theme for the revival era.
It's A tier for me. Like, it's good, but there's just something about the previous one that's just.
Yeah, I had it at the top. It would have been at the top of the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star level for me.
So dethroning Pertwee then?
Yeah, I would put it there. That same kind of logo back. 1, 2, oh my goodness! All
right. Okay, now we have the 11th Doctor's theme, first introduced in the 11th Hour, oddly enough, and was continued to be in use all the way up to the Angels Take Manhattan. It did saw a slight change in season 7A, but for the most part, it was the TARDIS flying through a sort of storm cloudy vortex with lots of lightning and thunder happening. Which, fun fact, the sound effects of thunder and lightning can only be heard if you're watching the TV version. If you're just listening to a version of this theme on a soundtrack CD release or as part of a Big Finish episode or a audiobook, the sound effects of the lightnings are nowhere to be found. It's just the music part of the theme. I found very interesting. At the time when it was introduced, I felt like the DW shaping the TARDIS was incredibly cheesy, and I didn't like it. But the episodes are better, and I do enjoy the theme. I think it's my favorite version of the middle 8 section in the modern series, which unfortunately it can only be heard in one episode, The Beast Below, and you just can't hear it in any other Matt Smith episode unless you listen to an audiobook or a Big Finish 11th Doctor episode, which is frustrating. But again, like I said earlier, Murray Gold just does not like that part of the theme. So what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I like this version. The music actually of the new era, I'll say since 9 on, probably my least favorite of the music. I still like it quite a bit more than most other themes. So, and I actually did like the logo. I like purposing it into the shape of the TARDIS. I don't know.
I enjoy it myself.
Yeah. To replace the logo that I really dislike. So maybe there was another thing about that too. But in having the light for the TARDIS, I liked it. I enjoyed it with the graphics. I love the TARDIS being hit by lightning. I think it's really good. It's really good. It's just I wouldn't put it nowhere near like the top of my list. Like it would be in the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star era for sure, but I wouldn't even have it very high on that.
This is my first.
Oh
So
my goodness!
that alone is on S.
Okay.
I also do really like it, but because it is my first, it is on S.
This thing is complicated for me to rank it because I like certain elements of it and dislike others. I like the flames and the vortex by the end of it.
Right.
I like the ominous choir singing at that particular part of the theme. I'm not a big fan of the beginning of it with the boinging sounds of the electric scream at the beginning.
Mm.
Reminds me too much of the Delaware theme.
What I think it works better with the credits, title credits we get in the Matt Smith's first season than I think it does anywhere else. Personally, yeah, because while you're transitioning to something new, you still have a lot of familiar elements from the Tennant Eccleston title card, so I think that may help it a little bit.
Yeah. And the thing of seeing two different vortices was introduced in the Eccleston stuff and continued all the way up to Capaldi.
Mm.
I will say that while on the visual side, or rather on the cinematography side, the season 7A version of this opening credits looks terrible. I liked the idea of having the title not be this metallic version, but just reflect the episode that you're about to watch.
Mm-hmm.
The Dalek bumps and Asylum of the Daleks. It's got this jungly dinosaur scaly version of dinosaurs on a spaceship. I like that as a concept, but like I said, the much darker looking vortex and the names of the actors no longer being part of the lightnings as opposed to just randomly splashing on top of the screen did not like that part. It's a very complicated theme and it's hard to judge it, but it's not an S tier for me. I'm sorry. It's not
That's fine. I told you the main reason it's on S tier is because it was my first.
Yeah, I mean, your first is by default always the most special to you.
Yeah. It's not my favorite, but it's still my first. I'm fine with it in Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I am perfectly okay with that.
Above or below 10
Below.
Okay. So still above the second Pertwee one?
No. I put it right below. Yeah, I put it right.
I think that's fair.
Okay. Now we have the second Matt Smith version, which on the music side, the theme didn't change all that much. They just tried to make it more ominous and more sinister. They tried to go all out with the visuals of just the TARDIS flying through different nebulae and supernovas, and just the visuals did not look good. Like, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what. Maybe they just blew all their budget on the 50th anniversary, just didn't have enough left for the visuals. Even though it technically started with the Snowman episode and lasted all the way up to the Time of the Doctor, the visuals just looked like they were made by an amateur. But I liked the idea of the design of the vortex. Did not look the best, and I do. I know I said that the TARDIS logo is cheesy. I'll take the L here. I actually of the TARDIS flying towards the screen, and then the doors opening to reveal the episode. I felt like it was a bit of a callback to the Fourth Doctor one, but it's not the best. This is not the best theme.
Yeah, this is probably one of the lowest of the newer ones for me. Like, it's and I don't like it.
Well, I actually do like the graphics for this.
I'm basing I'm basing it on the music itself. And
I thought the music is even a little bit better than the first one. Like I genuinely like it better. And then I think doesn't the Doctor's face come back into this one too?
Yeah, and I love that they brought that back. It saddens me that they took it away. And Whittaker's era, but it's sad that they took it away in Eccleston's era to begin with. But
Right.
I love that they brought that aspect back.
Yeah, I'm. If I wouldn't have it at the very top of things, but I would have, like, personally, I would have had it above even the first version of his title. Where do you guys think it should go?
I think I don't like it, but above the second Doctor one.
Okay.
It's still you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I agree with 50. But above the second Doctor, the visuals are great, but the song itself is not the best.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. Next, we have the final Murray Gold version of for now, the final version of a Murray Gold theme with Peter Capaldi's theme, which, fun fact, the visual side of things was designed by a guy on YouTube.
Oh,
I'm not making this up. This was a guy just made a Peter Capaldi theme, and it's like, hey, if I had to make it, this is how I would do it. And Stephen Moffat saw that and was like, good, you're hired. So they gave him the BBC budget, which, frankly speaking, is not a lot, but they gave him the BBC budget to design this higher quality version of the theme he made on YouTube with the clocks and gears opening the theme, then just transitioning into a clock with Roman numerals. You see the TARDIS flying from one side to the other, then just transitions into this bluish, very clear time vortex, and we actually see the attack eyebrows of Peter Capaldi looking at us sinisterly through the vortex, and we see some planets floating around. And in some of the Christmas themed episodes, you actually see some snow. In Husbands of Rivsong, the planets are being replaced with Christmas ornaments. And the best part about it is that it actually made its way into Lego form for Lego Dimensions. And if you've never played Lego Dimensions, I highly recommend just watching this theme just for the sake of it. You see all 12 doctors at the time, all 13 doctors at the time, randomly being placed on these different Lego bricks to make up the theme. And it's just a love letter to Doctor Who, the Lego version. But the theme itself,
I've heard of it before.
Not the best on the musical side. I like the visuals, but I don't hate the music of this theme.
This is easily visually my favorite.
I was gonna say maybe the same thing. Like, nothing's gonna take away 9 for me, but I had this as my second favorite intro for sure.
Yeah,
I absolutely love the gears of the clock and then turning it into the spiral staircase with the clock face and stuff. I love it.
Yeah, no, it was a great new title sequence for a good Doctor. This is easily A tier for me. It's not the best musically, but it makes.
I like the music. It's good. Like, it's a little more intense.
It's not S tier music.
No.
But the visuals, man, they're the best. I agree.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah. Again, because of the music, I can put it in S tier. But is it better than Tenants 1?
No.
Musically, maybe not. But
in Tenants?
visually, I think it is.
No, visually, yes, because the Tenant one wasn't that different at all.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. One thing that really does bring it down is that it was almost, the visuals were almost never in sync with the music. In some episodes, it's more noticeable than others, but they had at least 9 different alternate versions of it that each time the music was just out of sync with the visuals. And I don't know what happened there. I don't know what was so damn difficult to get it right, but it's a technical difficulty that unfortunately lowers it on the list for me.
That's fair. I would actually put it above Pertwee on Twinkle Twinkle.
Above Pertwee's second or last one? So first or last one?
The one that's the higher one.
So
Yeah, that's where I would put it.
I was gonna put it here, but
Which I'm fine with as well. Like it's not a hill I'm gonna die on at all.
but since Snark likes it better than me, let's just compromise and put it over here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Now, finally, for the TV side of things, we have the Jodie Whittaker one. First one in the modern era, not composed by Murray Gold. It was actually composed by Siga Nakanoa. And I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, but I'm terrible with names, so I apologize. This one harkens back to the music of the original Delia Derbyshire composition, with visuals that are very reminiscent of the first John Pertwee theme, just in higher HD quality. And I like the four knocks rhythm. Like I said, the melody section of it, not that different from the 1960s version. But I will say on the visual side, this is the highest resolution visuals we've ever seen on the Doctor Who theme. And this is the most 4K version of any of the visuals that can actually compare all of them together.
It is
looking
gorgeous.
visuals. The music, take it or leave it.
It's like, yeah, I agree. Music, take it or leave it. That's why it is lower on my list. But visually, it reminds me of a moving inkwalk test.
Yeah, it does.
It's pretty stunning visually.
Yeah.
I just wish, because the visuals are so good, I wish this thing was longer. I'm not a big fan of the just speeding up towards a black screen with just the title of the episode. I much rather to see the title of the episode in this visually looking thing. I like that they slightly added some more color during the last season of it, the Flux, for story reasons as well as thematic reasons of this being Jodie's final season. But not.
See, I really did I like the music. I like it's just very bassy. It's lower, very bassy. It's a driving kind of beat to it. I think it looks beautiful. It actually reminds you're right. Like it looks like Pertwee's first one or whatever with the color, but it also kind of reminds me of the very like the first Doctor's credits as well, just the grease paint or whatever, and just how the grease moves around like on the heat lamp and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it. I thought they're bringing it all back to the beginning and just making it look wonderful. So I had it pretty high. Again, the music maybe not as, I wouldn't put it as high as Capaldi's for the music, but I love what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I have trouble thinking of where I would put it.
I would put it for me right below Matt Smith's number one.
That's exactly where I was going to suggest putting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it.
I do wish it featured more colors other than purple.
Yeah.
Right, and it seems static. Like it doesn't have the feeling of movement like so many of the other ones had. It had that feeling of being static, and you're looking at things instead of actually being involved with it. Like say like I said, like the first one, like the very first Doctor's thing. It's like you're looking at something go crazy, and it looks great.
It doesn't feel like traveling through a vortex.
Yeah, that's true. You go.
Now we've got some miscellaneous ones to wrap up today's thing. First of all, we have the one from The Light at the End, which was the 50th anniversary Big Finish release, featuring all of the Big Finish Doctors at the time, from Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann, also featuring the return of Jeffrey Beavers as the Master. Personally, I have not listened to this yet. And the theme is a little bit forgettable for me. I don't know what to tell you. It's one of those. It sounds good when you first listen to it, but it just doesn't stick with me. So I don't know what to tell you here.
I like the theme. I had no problem with it. I like there's a lot of the little flourishes and stuff like that that you found, especially in the earlier intros. Um, Again, I would have loved to have seen it with graphics, but I wouldn't put it at the very top of anything. But I didn't mind the theme at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
This is definitely. I would put it at the very top of. I don't like it. Like it's not bad, but
Right.
it's not. It's not. Honestly, it sounds like, say, for example, you'll appreciate this, Snark. It sounds like when Kiss did a greatest hits album where they re-recorded all their songs 40 years later. It sounds like a re-record from the original artist.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. And that album was trash.
Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about, the Kissology album.
Yep.
There was a couple of covers on there I didn't mind, but no, you're right, it's trash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm neutral on it, so I'm going with what you guys said.
Yeah, that's the spot. It's whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
Next, we have the Doctor Who Unbound theme, which, despite what you see here on the logo, not every one of these Doctors actually had this theme. I believe the Jeffrey Belden and Derek Jacobi ones had the first Doctor theme, and David Warner had the third Doctor's theme. As for David Collins, Michael Jaston, and Arabella Ware, all three of them had this theme, which, you create a new theme for this off-the-cuff what-if series for Doctor Who, and only half of the stories feature this, so even less than half, as a matter of fact, because David Warner and Jeffrey Belden had 2 stories. So
it's boring.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It is boring.
This is like 2 sonic devices held up against each other. This is on that list.
Yeah, it's not good.
I will say this, though, as boring as it is, it fits the purpose of what it was designed for, which was the Unbound series is Doctor Who What If. That's what it is. So I would say it's hell of a lot better than the Delaware theme.
Oh, yeah, they're all a hell of a lot better than the Delaware.
Yeah, it's a much better.
And the Nicholas Briggs version, and I don't know.
That's fine. I like it better than that one.
Yeah, I almost feel like it should be at the bottom if I like it, because I don't want to put it alongside these 2 pieces of trash. But you're right; it's not memorable enough to warrant anything higher than.
Yeah. No, I would say it's the most forgettable music that's out there. Not the worst, but maybe the most forgettable. So boring.
Speaking of forgettable, the final one we have here is for the 40th anniversary special release, The Scream of the Shalka, which featured Richard E. Grant as the Doctor and Derek Jacobi as the Master. Cool. Years before he was the actual Master. But on the theme, first of all, this was completely animated, and on the music side, it was like the Delaware theme remixed. Tried to make it better, didn't work, and the visuals clearly were emulating the John Pertwee era stuff, with trying to add an animated Richard E. Grant face somewhere in the middle, with some electricity and thunder and lightning stuff. I don't know. This was just I think it was a failed project to begin with, and it sucks that, because I think Richard E. Grant, if given the chance, could have been a really good Doctor.
Oh, he would have been good. He would have been good.
He could still do it.
Came out at the wrong time. He did, however, I think, played a really good villain in the Matt Smith era.
Yep.
But we all know I have some issues with those episodes. Let's just not get it.
The Great Intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to give you a deep, dark secret. And I really like that theme.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a cartoon disco version of
It
Doctor
really
Who.
is, doesn't it? It's like a Super Friends version of the theme song.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I can get it. I get it. That's all I could think of the entire time. Well, maybe it's because I just heard Unbound right before it. And I was like, almost like trying to keep myself awake, and all of a sudden this thing comes completely different than everything else. But you know, just that beat. It was so fun. I thought it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it was fine, but it's not. I'm not wrong.
It might not be Doctor Who. It might not be what you think of when you think Doctor Who. But I thought it was a fun theme.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
To me, it sounds too much like the Delaware theme.
Oh boy, I didn't see that. But I'll listen to them back to back, and I'll give it. I'll let you know what I think later.
It's two sonic devices held up against each other for me.
Well, if it's there, it better be the top spot.
Better than the Unbound. Okay.
Oh fuck!
I personally would put the Unbound above this one because of the Delaware connection, but
Yeah.
so
we can have it bookend. We can have it bookend the bottom here.
this is our list.
All right.
There's a lot of twinkling stars there, and you know what? Looking back, I'm actually glad we added a fourth tier right here.
Yeah.
It made sense. Yeah.
This thing would have been so much overbloated and wouldn't make a lot of sense. I actually like this 4 tier structure, and I honestly, aside from maybe putting this above the first Doctor, I don't really have a lot of complaints about this. I actually really do agree with a lot of the points we make here, and I would wish the sixth Doctor was a little bit higher, but that's just me. But yeah, I don't really have too many disagreements with this list.
Yeah.
No, it's a pretty solid list. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have done like I would have had a couple of things different. I would add a couple of things higher, a couple of things lower. But I think when you're talking with 3 people figuring out 21 different songs, I think this is a very fair list. Let's say that.
Yeah,
Agreed.
no one feels the need to change anything.
Nope. I think it's good the way it is.
Yeah. So yeah.
The right one.
Send it to the press. Send it to the press.
Oh, okay.
Write it, packages, and sell it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it for. Honestly, this is a bit weird coming from me, but this actually went on for a bit longer than I thought it would. I didn't think we would have this much to talk about Doctor Who themes, but hey, I'm always up for a long Doctor Who discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Now this brings an end to the music month of Doctor Who. Next month, I've been doing some thinking with myself, mostly, as I tend to do all my thinkings, and I've been taking a bit of a long look at all the other episodes that I've done on this show, and I have made a decision. And this is the first time I'm letting anyone know about it. I made a decision in my head. This is the first time Soda's heard about this decision.
Yeah.
I've literally not told this to anyone else. I'm going to do a bit of a change to the format of this show.
Oh.
And what I mean by that, it's still going to have the 1 week classic, 1 week modern, 1 week expanded media stuff, and 4th week whatever. Because I really like that structure, and that was really the original plan for the show. But I have not enjoyed the last couple of episodes of just me sitting here alone, talking to myself, and just stumbling over my words and getting a lot of stuff wrong. And I really did enjoy the episode that I had Soda last time of the every time a new Doctor was announced. I really like that type of format. So for the next 2 months, just for now, just 2 months for now, I'm going to have a guest on every single episode, and it's going to be a revolving door of guests. I've already got 2 guests lined up, and I think you'll be really surprised to know who they are. I'm not going to reveal it here and now, but I already have the next 2 months planned out. Next month, for the entirety of the month of August, is going to be all about the aliens of Doctor Who, designs, culture, history, lore, and all that kind of stuff. The follow-up episode is sort of a spiritual sequel to that. The follow-up month, that is, for all of September, is all about the planets from Doctor Who. So I'm going to be making these title cards with different species and planets, interesting facts about them, and aside, and just a little bit of reading some notes about these planets and aliens with a guest and asking them what they feel about about these aliens. Maybe bringing some examples from maybe real world biology or call it or an ecosystem for other planets. That could be a very interesting thing. I really hope this thing catches on because I really enjoyed that type of format. But that is a story for another time. So let's start with the honored guests we have today on the show. Let's start with Snark. Where can people find you, good sir, on the interwebs?
Well, you can find me here on the Northern Entertainment Group every Tuesday on my TV show. Have you seen this? We're currently in our kind of third season. We are down a guy who's been kidnapped by a large entertainment company that's based in Anaheim, California. Also, maybe Orlando, Florida. Hopefully he'll get released, but he did not like the Moon Knight, and he let everybody know about it on the interwebs. And also, you may have taken the shield from me because I didn't like that program either. But he's the one missing, not me. You can see that every Tuesday night. You can follow me at Snark Yeti if you never want to see me post anything and just like other people's stuff. I do that quite a bit. That's it for me.
Soda.
As for myself, Soda _ Saxman, Twitter and Instagram. You can find me here on Wednesday nights on the Northern Entertainment Group. Wednesday nights on the Scored Slice, the wrestling show here. Thursday nights on Rewind the Tape, where me and Ben just review whatever the hell movie we want. Pretty much it's down to we're randomizing it based off of a wheel at this point. And Saturdays with my good friend 50 down here and Ben on the Northern Countdown, which this week is interesting because 50 chose it and he made it very, very niche.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a crossover with this show.
Oh, okay.
And then also Saturday afternoons over on the Let's Get Ready Network doing the drop kicks over there, which tomorrow's episode, this is coming on Monday. So this past Saturday's episode was our last name under the name The Drop Kicks. We're coming back in 2 weeks with a new name, The Blokes of Wrestling. Yeah. That's it.
And you can find me on the Northern Countdown, like Soda just mentioned, on this show every Monday, doing the greatest show in the galaxy. And for the moment, my own channel, 50 Shades of Geek, is still technically on hiatus. I'm still trying to work out some stuff on my personal end there, but I am in no way, shape, or form retiring that channel entirely. I will be back. I just got to get some of my stuff in order. It might take me a bit longer than I expected. But that's just me. And I have been me. You have been you. And this has been Doctor Who. I have no idea where that came from, but I kind of like it. Let's never use that ever again. Special for the moment. So, bye, everyone.
Allons-y.